Welcome back to English class. Today we will be asking, what is a close reading? How do I do a close reading? This is one of the most important skills you will learn in an English class. Let's get started. So, crime scene investigation, CSI. Have you heard of it? When detectives go to the scene of the crime, they take detailed documentation of everything they find there to help them answer the most essential questions. What happened here? Who was involved? Where is the evidence placed throughout the scene? When did the crime happen? Why was it committed in the first place? How was the crime committed? And there isn't one single way they do this at every crime scene. They have to be adaptable detectives to each of the situations they find themselves in to most effectively answer those questions. But the one thing they do have in common is no matter the situation, they look for the physical evidence. Blood, fingerprints, that sort of thing. Their goal in every case is to get the answers, crack open the mystery. So, how does CSI compare to close reading? Both of them are investigations. Both of them take detailed documentation of what is there. CSI tries to answer the questions, what crime was committed, who committed it. Similarly, close reading asks those same questions, but about what was written, who wrote it, how was it written, why, and so forth. Just like the procedure changes depending on the type of crime scene, the way that we analyze writing changes too. Looking at a letter is very different from reading a textbook and so forth. But just like with CSI, we also look for physical evidence in our close reading. What words are used? What's the hidden meaning behind them? What are they trying to persuade us of? And so forth. So, what is a close reading? It's a thoughtful, disciplined reading of a text, and its goal is the aha, I get it moment. We accomplish that by asking the most essential questions, such as what is being said, how is this message being conveyed, when and where is it said, who is saying it, and why is it being said. When we answer these questions by digging into the details of a text, the cumulative effect is that we gain insights into the meaning and the effect of what we've read. Pause the video here, take notes on this slide. It's the most important part of the presentation. Now prepare yourself, my students, for the most over-explained meme in the history of over-explained memes. We're going to start with the what. We're looking for all the details we can notice. Here's my list. If you noticed additional details, excellent. Read through them for a second. Next, we'll ask, what is the message of this picture? Millennials should have the goal of financial stability, but they betray those goals in favor of avocado toast. Obviously, it's not really about the avocado toast. That stands for silly luxuries or wants being chosen over needs by a specific generation. The overall message is that millennials aren't keeping their financial goals because they keep betraying them for unnecessary things. We know that. We're going to look for more details now to see if we can gain additional insights from this meme. We still have more questions to ask, so let's look at who made it. This is the author. Take a second to look at her Twitter bio. What do those details tell you about her? I can infer her interests, a little bit of her personality, and seeing that it was posted on a Twitter verified account, I know there's a certain degree of professionalism in her persona as well. The time period it was made is important as well. So now we have to ask the why question, and here's where we really need to think for ourselves. Knowing the authorship and the context helps us to see that this message isn't coming from someone who's grumpy and scolding kids these days. It's coming from someone making fun of her own demographic. So is it still a criticism? Yes. Does it still involve stereotypes? Yes, but for humor's sake. So it's kind of a soft criticism. It takes it from being something that's scolding to being an inside joke, a call to change. So the difference is in tone, and that makes all the difference in the world. So now you have an example of a close reading. We took a careful, disciplined approach to asking each of those essential questions until we got our aha moment, and we could express in words what we already kind of knew about the tone of the image and its significance. Quick pause. The next 6 minutes are for my honors classes. Generals, you can choose whether to stop or continue. So, besides a bizarrely deep exploration of memes, what is close reading used for? The principal object, or the overall goal, of close reading is to unpack the text. Close readers linger or pay really specific attention to words, verbal images, so that's like figurative language, elements of style, sentences, argument patterns, and entire paragraphs and larger discursive units within the text to explore their significance on multiple levels. So, when do we use this? Anyone can use this strategy anytime, anywhere they want to really get the message. I do this all the time when I go to the movies or watch Netflix, but it's especially important when you're reading news articles, social media posts, listening to political speeches. This is how you inform yourself. This is how you don't rely on other people's interpretation. It's how you form your own ideas based on evidence. This is another fun, everyday example of close reading in action. This person took a look at a scene from Iron Man and identified a bunch of details from it, put it in context, asked those key questions, and then provided what she considers her aha moment about the greater significance of the scene. If you've seen Iron Man, you'll understand this example. Here is another example from a Marvel movie. However, in this example of close reading, I don't think the close reader was necessarily trying to say that this effect was done on purpose. I think their aha moment was expressing the cumulative effect of the symbolic imagery she found in these stylistic choices. Think about these questions to yourself for a moment. What are some problems you might find with the idea of close reading, and have you ever seen a close reading done incorrectly or poorly? I'll just leave this here for a second. By the way, I'm not playing games. Always cite your sources. Yes, I cited my memes. So, back to the original question, what are potential problems with close reading? Number one, if you don't know what you're looking for, you can't find it. You just collect details without a purpose. You won't get your aha moment. The way that you fix this is by having a purpose when you close read. You need to know what you are looking for in order to be effective at finding it. And this is the second biggest problem. This is the English teacher problem. I know, I have to be self-aware. If you're looking for something that isn't there, your analysis will be incorrect at best or just completely nonsensical. If you do find your aha moment, you're probably wrong, or you might never find it at all. The way you fix this is by having a more reasonable objective. Look for something that actually could be there. So what then is a close reading for? Again, this is a slight distinction, but an important one. In the traditional view, close reading does not aim to produce the meaning of a text, but rather to unearth all its possibilities. This is one major way in which it is different from CSI. With CSI, you're looking for the answer. With close reading, you're trying to gain greater insight or understanding altogether. But obviously, not all interpretations are equally useful, successful, enjoyable, correct even. So how can we distinguish between an okay close reading and one that's actually helpful, useful, good? What makes a good close reading? The way that we can measure the success of a close reading is by looking at the degree of enlightenment which you gain from that interpretation. And I think the degree to which the insights proposed correlate to the evidence that exists in the text, which can reasonably be ascertained by the general level of agreement of those who hear what he or she, the close reader, has to say. The short version of what I just said is that the aha moment of a close reading is successful if A, it gives you actual insights into the text, B, those insights closely correlate with the evidence in the text, And C, this one's the most subjective, but it's still useful, whether or not others agree with the analysis you produced. Now, if you've been thinking critically about all of this, and I hope you have, you might reasonably ask yourself, what's the difference between all of this and just what the average person does day to day? One of the answers for that is that a critical close reader reveals meanings that are shared but not universally known, and meanings that are known but not articulated. In other words, they kind of put into words what you instinctually know so that other people can communicate with you about that interpretation and discuss it at that level. So, to sum that all up, what is a close reading? A close reading uses details, analysis, critical thinking, evidence, context, and inference to really unearth all the meanings in every text, especially the hidden ones under the surface, specifically articulating them so that the reader can have their aha moment. Congratulations, you're finished, and I'm done filming. This took me 2 hours to make. I'm so done you can never make me talk about close reading again. Just kidding. Close reading is actually really awesome, and we'll use it a lot. I love it. Okay,